Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm reviewing the book The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. The Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller is an intricate, moving retelling of the story of Achilles, the legendary Greek hero, and his intimate bond with Patroclus, a character who is often sidelined in traditional accounts of Greek mythology. This novel is not merely a retelling of the Iliad, but a deeply emotional exploration of love, identity, and destiny. The narrative unfolds through the eyes of Patroclus, offering a fresh perspective on the legendary tale, making it both a homage to Homer and a novel that stands firmly on its own. The story begins with the early life of Patroclus, a young prince who grows up in the shadow of his father's expectations. Patroclus is not the strong, heroic figure his father desires. He is quiet, reflective, and lacks the physical prowess that defines the warriors of his time. His life takes a tragic turn when, during an altercation with another boy, Patroclus accidentally kills him. This incident leads to Patroclus being exiled to the court of King Peleus, a decision that will alter the course of his life forever. King Peleus, the father of Achilles, rules over Phthia, a kingdom renowned for its military strength and the divine lineage of its prince. It is here that Patroclus first encounters Achilles, a boy of extraordinary beauty and unmatched skill, destined for greatness. Despite their differences, Achilles being the son of a goddess and Patroclus a disgraced exile, the two boys form an unlikely friendship. This bond is the heart of the novel, a relationship that begins in childhood and evolves into a deep, abiding love as they grow older. Miller's portrayal of Achilles is complex and layered. He is not just a hero in the traditional sense, but a young man burdened by his destiny. Achilles knows from a young age that he is destined to be the greatest of the Greeks, a prophecy that both excites and terrifies him. He is aware of the expectations placed upon him, both by his divine mother, Thetis, and by the mortal world. This knowledge shapes his actions and decisions throughout the novel, making him both a figure of awe and one of deep vulnerability. Patroclus, in contrast, is portrayed as a character who finds his strength in his love for Achilles. His journey is one of self-discovery, as he grows from a boy who feels overshadowed by his peers into a man who plays a pivotal role in the epic events that unfold. Patroclus' love for Achilles is the core of his identity, giving him purpose and direction in a world that has often been cruel and unforgiving. It is through this love that Patroclus finds his place in the world, even as he remains acutely aware of the differences between them. As the boys grow older, their relationship deepens. What begins as a close friendship gradually blossoms into a romantic and sexual relationship, one that defies the conventions of their time. Miller handles this aspect of their relationship with great sensitivity, portraying it as both tender and passionate, a bond that is both physical and emotional. Their love is depicted as something pure and profound, a connection that transcends the expectations of society and the strictures of their world. The novel takes a significant turn when the call to war comes. The Trojan War, a conflict that will shape the destinies of many, looms on the horizon. Achilles, as the greatest warrior of his time, is expected to lead the Greeks to victory. However, his mother, Thetis, intervenes, attempting to shield her son from the fate she knows awaits him. Thetis is a formidable figure in the novel, a goddess with little patience for the mortal world, and a mother fiercely protective of her son. She is deeply distrustful of Patroclus, seeing him as a threat to Achilles' destiny. Thetis attempts to protect Achilles, lead her to hide him on the island of Scyros, where he is disguised as a girl among the daughters of King Lycomedes. Patroclus, heartbroken by Achilles' sudden disappearance, eventually finds him and convinces him to return to Phthia. It is during this time that their relationship becomes even more solidified, as they realize that they cannot live without each other. However, the pressures of the world begin to encroach on their happiness, as the call to war becomes impossible to ignore. The journey to Troy marks the beginning of a new chapter in their lives. The Greek forces gather under the leadership of Agamemnon, and Achilles takes his place as the greatest of the Greek warriors. Patroclus accompanies him, not as a warrior, but as a companion and confidant. The war itself is depicted with a brutal realism, highlighting the horrors of battle and the toll it takes on all involved. Miller does not shy away from the violence and bloodshed, but she also focuses on the personal struggles and emotions of the characters, particularly Achilles and Patroclus. As the war drags on, the relationship between Achilles and Patroclus is tested in ways they could never have anticipated. Achilles' pride and sense of honor come into direct conflict with the demands of the war. This is most evident in the conflict with Agamemnon, who demands Achilles' concubine, Briseis, as compensation for a slight. Achilles, feeling deeply dishonored, refuses to fight, withdrawing from the battlefield and leaving the Greeks to fend for themselves. Patroclus, who has always stood by Achilles, now finds himself torn between his love for Achilles and his sense of duty to their fellow soldiers. The tension reaches a breaking point when the Greeks begin to suffer devastating losses without Achilles on the battlefield. Patroclus, desperate to protect both Achilles' honor and the lives of their comrades, makes the fateful decision to don Achilles' armor and lead the Greeks into battle himself. This act of self-sacrifice is born out of love and a desire to save Achilles from the consequences of his own pride. However, it also leads to Patroclus' tragic death at the hands of Hector, the Trojan prince. The death of Patroclus is one of the most devastating moments in the novel. Miller captures the grief and despair that follows with a profound sense of loss. Achilles is shattered by the death of the one person he truly loved, and his sorrow drives him to seek revenge. His subsequent actions on the battlefield are fueled by a combination of rage and guilt, leading to the death of Hector and the desecration of his body. However, even as he achieves his revenge, Achilles is consumed by his grief, realizing that nothing can bring Patroclus back. The final chapters of the novel focus on the aftermath of Patroclus' death and the fulfillment of Achilles' destiny. Achilles' own death is foreshadowed throughout the novel, and when it finally comes, it is both inevitable and deeply tragic. However, Miller does not end the story with Achilles' death. Instead, she explores the enduring bond between Achilles and Patroclus even in death. Thetis, who has always viewed Patroclus with suspicion and disdain, comes to understand the depth of his love for her son. In a gesture of reconciliation, she allows Patroclus' name to be inscribed on the tomb he shares with Achilles, ensuring that their love will be remembered for eternity. The novel concludes with a poignant reflection on memory and legacy. Even in death, Achilles and Patroclus are bound together, their love transcending the boundaries of mortality. The story of Achilles and Patroclus, as told by Miller, is one of the most powerful and enduring love stories in literature. It is a tale of heroism and sacrifice, but also of the deep, abiding love that defines the lives of these two extraordinary figures. Miller's The Song of Achilles is a triumph of storytelling, a novel that captures the grandeur of the ancient epic while infusing it with a modern sensibility. Her prose is lyrical and evocative, bringing the world of ancient Greece to life in vivid detail. The characters are richly drawn, with Achilles and Patroclus standing out as fully realized, complex individuals. Their love story is the heart of the novel, a connection that is both tender and fierce, and one that resonates with readers long after the final page is turned. As we come to the end of this detailed summary, it's clear that The Song of Achilles is much more than a retelling of an ancient myth. It is a story about the power of love and the ways in which it shapes our lives. It is about the choices we make and the consequences they bring. And above all, it is a reminder that even in the face of destiny, we have the power to define our own legacy. Thank you for joining me on this journey through The Song of Achilles. If you enjoyed this summary, please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel for more in-depth book summaries. Until next time, happy reading!